crowd expected tonight as the Rockies welcome the summer weather to lower downtown Denver, coming off a road trip in which they went 4-5, that all-California trip, San Diego, San Francisco, and most recently Los Angeles. Everybody's refreshed with the day off yesterday, and the Rockies welcome in the Reds, who are in the basement right now in the NL Central, 18-33, and they made a managerial move fairly early in the season. The affable Brian Price was let go, and a longtime baseball man, a good baseball man, Jim Riggleman, took over. Jimmy's been a major league manager for parts of 12 seasons, and they've responded nicely, Huey. They're 15-18 since Riggleman took over.
Yeah, Riggs also has some playoff experience. He took the '98 Cubs to that wild card game, so it's a different style with Jim Riggleman than it was with Brian Price. Doesn't mean one's better than the other, but I think if you look at Riggs, he's a little bit more old school.
A little bit more old school is, I think, a really fair way of describing Jim Riggleman. Let's take a look at the batting order tonight, presented by Southwest Airlines. A kid, Jesse Winker, just hit his first career home run. He's a former #1. He'll be in left field leading it off. Then Tucker Barnhart, the great Joey Votto, who always sports the highest on-base percentage or thereabouts in Major League Baseball. Scooter Gennett physically doesn't look like a cleanup hitter. Then you look at the numbers, you say, okay, you can bat cleanup. Eugenio Suarez has 38 RBIs that leads the National League. Scott Schebler's got a lot of pop. Jose Peraza will be at shortstop. They bat their pitcher 8th in Romano. And one of the fastest men in the game, Billy Hamilton, will bat 9th. And there's John Gray looking to bounce back and looking for his 5th victory of the year. And all of it, Taylor touched on it. You heard from Steve Foster prior to the first pitch tonight. It's about fastball location and command.
Well, because the last 2 ball games for John, they've hit .591 off the fastball. I mean, with his fastball, that's just not acceptable. And even though it's 95 miles an hour, he uses it 52% of the time. Slider, curveball. I think his curveball is as good as his slider is right now, because he's getting a lot of strikeouts with those. 23, almost 24% of the strikeouts that John is getting on the year has come via the curveball. And I know Taylor touched on it, and you mentioned it, Steve Foster. Sometimes the last 2 games in particular for John, it has been a matter of when he's gotten in a little bit of trouble, he hasn't been able to put his foot down and get out of it. It spiraled out of control.
And that is always the key for any pitcher, as they learn to become a top flight guy, minimize damage. We say that on a seemingly a nightly basis. And John knows that. Sure. So here we go on a night that is a really good night to hit. You know, Coors Field is always a good place to swing the bat, but we talked about it a few moments ago. It is warm, and there is really not much of a breeze. Winker takes the first pitch in there for a strike at the top of the zone, and it's 0-1.
This Cincinnati team's pretty aggressive on first pitches. They like to go up there hacking.
3 on the right side, and Trevor Story is in the right place, so that shift really paid off there. 1 out, scored 6-3 as we take a look at the Rockies defense this evening. And the Rockies have played superb defense all year. And you see Story, it's Parra, Blockman, and Dahl in the outfield. Pat Vallejo is getting the start at second base, and he's joined with Story by Arenado naturally, and Desmond at first. Tony Walters continues to catch the starts of John Gray. That has kind of been a consistent theme since mid-April. Here is Tucker Barnhart. Tucker brings a .266 average into the ballpark tonight. Veteran catcher. First pitch misses 1-0. Pretty nice place to hit if you're hitting in front of or behind Joey Votto.
Well, it's a little bit like if you're in front of Nolan or behind Nolan. Todd Helton was that way whenever guys were hitting either in front or behind him.
Hard ground ball, left side, knocked through. So a 1-out base hit for Tucker Barnhart.
I think John beat him with that pitch. It just happened to inside out it the other way.
You know, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. Some people look at that and say, oh, he beat the shift. I think exactly what you did. He's trying to get the bat head out, and he was just tardy on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
And he found a hole.
Yep.
I mean, it happens.
Everything's about percentages naturally with the shift, so it's not like next time he comes up you're going to get out of it. And this is off the glove of Story, and because of that, Barnhart is going to go first to third on the single by Joey Votto. So two well-placed ground balls, not hit exceptionally hard.
Remember
and
what
it's first and third with one out.
I was talking about a moment ago, how aggressive Cincinnati is swinging at first pitch, and it is unfortunate, as we see on the Subaru Supermo.
It's belt high.
Yeah, it's belt high, kind of running away a little bit from Votto, but off the glove of Trevor, and that slowed it down enough to allow Barnhart to get to third. Now it's first and third and just one out.
And Scooter Gennett is at the plate. Gennett the other day hit a grand slam. We've hit a couple of those in the last few days because Suarez has one also. And that's up and in, ball one on Gennett, the former Milwaukee Brewer, and they felt they didn't have any room anymore for Gennett there. He went to Cincinnati last year and had an extraordinary year, obviously highlighted by the 4 home run game. And he's putting up big numbers again this year.
Well, I think there were some people that thought that last year was a fluke for Scooter, because he never really put up those numbers in Milwaukee.
He's a guy, we like to say this, it's okay, you're allowed to get better, right? He's always been a pretty solid player. He keeps getting better. And he rules that one foul. Scooter Gennett, nicely listed at 5'10". That's that pleases mom and dad.
It's like the NFL draft or the NBA, where they fudge it a half an inch or an inch or 3.
Yeah. Last year he hit 295 with 27 home runs and 97 driven in. 1 and 2. Walter sets up maybe a little bit off the plate away, and it is high and away. 2 and 2. He was a waiver claim late March of last year, the day before the Reds broke camp.
Pretty nice waiver claim.
When a guy then goes out and basically hits 300 with close to 30 and 100. Kidding me? See if John can get a double play ball.
Those 2 curveballs from John to Scooter. So if you're John, you gotta think, I'm just 1 pitch away from rolling that double play and getting in the dugout.
You want the slider here. And that one backed up and it was off the plate, so now it's 3 and 2. And taking a good long look at Billy Hatcher is Joey Votto at first. Barnhart at third. You don't have exactly the track team on base right now.
No, but I think with Scooter, guy that can put the ball in play even behind in the count, I don't think they'll run him.
Nope, not running Votto, and this one's going to scoot through. Base hit, 1-0 Cincinnati, and Votto is going to go first to third. 3 singles in a row, and John Gray and the Rockies behind 1-0. Gennett's 35th RBI.
That's a curveball on the Subaru Supermo, and he had to take the top hand off the bat to get a little more length, and just snuck it through past Pat. And very aggressive from Votto, going first to third.
And the last thing you wanted to see as a Rockies fan is Steve Foster having a meeting 5 minutes after the game started.
Yeah, just 13 pitches in.
And now you have the RBI leader at the plate in Suarez.
As you mentioned, Drew, Suarez with that grand slam yesterday, his 3rd grand slam of his career.
This is a guy that is a really good player that not a lot of people talk about. He's a good two-way player. He's good defensively, and he can swing the pipe. And it's a breaking ball. Wasn't a bad pitch. He went down and got it. It's against Ivan Nova. done some damage in his career, in particular against Nova. John ahead, 1 strike.
Suarez missed 16 games and he still has 38 RBIs.
Isn't that something?
For a team that is 18-33 on the year.
He's driven in a major league high 24 in the month of May. .97-mile-an-hour fastball is a foul tip, and it's 1-2. That got him.
Got him.
Now the bases are loaded for Scott Schebler.
It's just the second time this year John has hit somebody. That's how close it is on the Subaru Supermo. Wow. That was ever so close.
Yeah, it's really close, but the issue is the misses with the fastball.
Yeah. We haven't seen the miss down. Everything's been kind of running away and or up.
Schebler, dangerous bat, and he takes ball 1. Scott Schebler, kind of like his good friend Noel Cuevas, was in that Dodger organization as an outfielder, and then they signed Puig, and it's just a numbers game. He had too many guys in front of him, so he needed another organization, as did Cuevas.
Well, at one time, Noel was telling me it was Noel, it was Schebler, and it was Jock Peterson, all in the same outfield in A-ball.
Pretty good club, huh?
Yeah.
A run in and a 2-0 count on Schebler with the bases loaded and 1 out in the top of the first.
The good news is we've seen some high velocity from John at 97, but that's the 3rd or 4th one I've seen so far tonight in the first 20 pitches.
Everybody knows it's not just about high velocity anymore. It's got to be about location. John had a great start 2 starts ago against the Angels. 3 starts ago, actually. And he was down with his fastball. This is going to be tough to turn 2. They're going to force, and that's it, probably. And a run will score.
Very wise by Trevor at shortstop to make sure that he got that lead runner. Not try to force it and have something that wasn't there. We knew that as easy as that ball was hit from Schebler, that he wasn't going to be able to turn 2 no matter what happened at second base.
Yeah, and with the shift, he was up the middle, so he had to work hard to his right. 1st and 3rd for the shortstop Peraza. More of a slap type hitter. Rockies are straight up defensively. 0-1. Rockies, of course, had yesterday off. The Reds were in action. They were at home. They beat the Pirates 5-4.
It was a long road trip for the Reds.
They'll be in the NL West the whole time.
Go to Arizona after this, and then Petco. An off day in San Diego.
This is a pop fly to shallow right. David Dahl's out there. He'll make the catch. And the Rockies will jog off the field, but they're down 2-0. 2 runs on 3 base hits in the inning for Cincinnati. to go. And here's the Southwest batting order brought to you by Southwest Airlines. David Dahl's going to bat the 2-hole behind Charlie Blackmon. And then Nolan, career against the Reds, 9 home runs, 21 driven in. Parra, Story, Desmond, Walters, Valleca, and John Gray against Sal Romano, who has 1 start against the Rockies. It came at Coors Field. Wasn't a bad one. 5 innings, couple of runs. Pretty solid. He's got a good arm. He'll try to sink the fastball and get to a curveball. It's been a very good pitch for him this year.
Yeah, that 1 start at Coors Field last year was his first road start of his major league career. 2-5 record out on the road. He is 0-3 with a 7.41 ERA. 69% of the time, it's actually 69.5% of the time he uses a fastball. That is 6th most in the major leagues. The old guy, Cologne, still has the most. He uses his fastball 83.3% of the time. So Sal's right up there with some familiar company. You talked about the curveball, Drew. That's what he likes to throw for his secondary pitch. An occasional changeup, an occasional slider, but if I'm a hitter, I'm looking fastball, curveball.
So here's Charlie. And he takes strike 1. Twelve home runs, 11 out on the road. Looking to catch fire. 0-2 on Blackmon. Charlie's 1 for 2 against Romano.
Charlie's just in one of those dips right now where you're fouling off some pitches and then you're immediately behind in the count.
Well, right now at home, just 18 games. As Charlie pops this one up, it'll be an easy play for Suarez in foul ground. Charlie's hitting .232 at home. In his career, he's hit .342. So you got to figure that is going to change, and dramatically. That's what Buddy was talking about before the game.
For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch, and it's Power Up. Let's go Rockies offense. 30 home runs in the last 15 home games against Cincinnati, and for Sal Romano, especially the left-handers. The lefties are hitting .316 off of Sal this year with 4 home runs.
Well, here's another lefty, David Dahl, and he takes a strike. Rough road trip for David. He went 2 for 22. And that's a hard shot, but it is right at the shortstop, Peraza. 2 outs.
That's
barely.
Close.
You know, he took too much time. Better read the scouting report on Dahl.
He fielded the ball, and then he kind of stood there for a second before he threw.
Yeah, I mean, he stood there like he had the 38-year-old veteran catcher from the right side running, as opposed to a young center field type who can really go. 2 outs. Here comes Nolan.
They'll remember that next time.
One would think. Big leagues, you have scouting report on everything. So you know who can run, who can really run, who's average, who's below average, who's really below average, who doesn't go hard all the time. You have all that information. I mean, if it's an amateur game, you kind of read body types. Go, oh, that guy looks like he runs pretty good, right? Well, if you're looking at David Dahl, A, the scouting report says he can really run, and B, you look at the body type, and in your head you go, he looks like he can really run.
He can run, and like you said, everybody gets these scouting reports, so it's not like that was foreign information to Jose.
2-0, and this ball's well hit center field, way back, and this one is gone. Nolan with his 9th of the year, and it's 2-1.
Just talking about what I wanted for the win, brought to you by Pizza Ranch. It was Power Up. That was Nolan. 9th home run, 27th RBI. Had come in hitting .317. Got the fastball on the Subaru Supermo, and immediately off the bat, the sound of it told you it was going to go a long way. Now, was it going to be able to get over that extra wall in right center field? You betcha, right into the Reds bullpen.
That ball was hammered.
Yes, it was.
Strike one on Parra.
And you mentioned it, Drew, too, with Romano. He comes right over the top and tries to turn the ball over and then run it away from the lefties into the right-handers.
425 feet, the estimated distance on that big fly from Nolan. It wasn't a big fly, it was a big line drive. 26-degree launch angle. And off the bat at 104 miles an hour. Converted to kilometers, it's like 138 kilometers an hour. Parra hit his third home run in that Dodger series. He went opposite field.
Yeah, he did.
And the 1-2 strikes him out. So Romano with his first strikeout, but Nolan got him. And the Rockies will go to the second inning, trailing 2-1 at Coors Field. Time for our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. We'll go to AT&T Sportsnet RMF Twitter to cast your vote. We'll show you the results during our post-game show. Pretty simple. You know, Big John likes to chase ghosts. So, do you believe in ghosts? What do you got, Huey?
I'm going to go no.
Yeah, I'm probably in the no category.
I hadn't really given it much thought, though, until this high-speed challenge question was posed.
One and two on Romano, batting in the 8th spot, so Billy Hamilton's on deck. And that's strike 3.
And you know, I'm not a real big fan of the pitcher hitting 8th. You know, I kind of like him in that 9th spot. I guess I'm a little more old school that way. But I think with the Reds and Billy Hamilton, it works out for him. Well, you know, a guy that, you know, if he's able to get on base, can wreak some havoc. So if he's hitting 8th in front of the pitcher, they might walk him. There might be somebody in front of him.
Yeah, and if there's 2 outs and Billy were hitting 8th and he got on, it shuts down the running game, because if he does get thrown out, you got your pitcher up there the next inning. So this does make sense. Billy's been scuffling, hitting just 199. Here's the 0-1. Nolan's on the grass, which you have to be to protect against the bunt, except Billy is probably not bunting as much as a lot of not only fans, but maybe even people in authority with the Reds would like him to. And they brought in Joe Morgan, the great Hall of Famer, for a week in spring training to work specifically with Billy
on bunting.
On bunting.
With his speed, I don't know why he wouldn't do it. Remember Brett Butler? Everybody in the ballpark knew that Brett was going to bunt, and he could still bunt and beat it out.
Two and two on Hamilton. He's almost a must play in this series. They've taken him out of the lineup at times because of his offensive issues, but for Jim Riggleman, it's almost a must situation because of the outfield here at Coors Field.
Yeah, it's
he's got to have him defensively.
Has to.
2-2, and there's a strikeout. You got to hustle even on a ball that just got away a few feet. 2 outs. That'll bring up Jesse Winker. Fans join in on the conversation. Send us your comments, your questions, perhaps. Use Twitter and include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Winker grounded up the middle his first time up, and that's where Trevor Story was stationed. Then you had 3 ground ball hits to produce a run that followed, and then eventually Scott Schebler had an RBI ground out on the knuckles of Jesse Winker.
Yeah, some workout buddies down in Orlando.
And one of them we're going to show you here in a second. Carlos Gonzalez is inside. We were talking to Cargo before the game because he was giving Winker a bear hug, and they were chatting up a storm. And this guy's a young player. I said, how do you know Winker? And he said he's one of the guys that works out with us all winter long. From the Carolinas originally, but he went to high school in Orlando, was drafted by the Reds, supplemental first-round pick in 2012. That's a pretty good group that works out together. That's Prado, and just missed Cargo, of course. There's a bunch of big leaguers.
Yeah, how about that workout group? You wouldn't want to be slacking among those guys.
And you got Ender Inciarte in that group also. I don't want to leave him out.
So Winker goes down to first. Tucker Barnhart with 2 out. That's great range by Trevor Story to take a base hit from Tucker Barnhart. So a better inning for John Gray. 2-1 Cincinnati, middle of 2 at Coors Field.
second. Now, we talk a lot this year about the Rockies' losing record at home. It's something that we've not usually accustomed to seeing them doing, but when you look all across Major League Baseball, that's the case collectively. Major League Baseball as a whole, 49% of the time they're winning at home. Last year it was 54%, and never in a full season has collectively Major League Baseball had a losing record at home, which is kind of interesting. Now, the teams with the worst records at home, the Rockies 7-11, Angels 12-17, Blue Jays 12-17 as well. So this kind of got me thinking, you guys, do you think it's the spreading out of off days or some of the issues that were addressed in this year's new collective bargaining agreement, Drew?
I don't know what the answer is. I would suggest that we'll revisit that in a month and a half or 2 months, and it'll have swung back the other direction where it's over 500. It's a high fly ball down the right field line, and Scott Schebler is going to have room in foul ground, and Trevor Story is retired. Listen, there's been strange weather, which affects both teams. I don't know what it is. I really don't, but I would be shocked if we show that same graphic, you know, say August 23rd, and the home team still has a losing record.
Right, but the other number, though, I found interesting, though, was just the 54%, the home team winning. You know, because you think about some of the other sports, the real home field advantage, say in football or, you know, basketball. It's got to be higher than that. It's just 54% of the time, you know?
Yeah. But it's baseball. We always
No,
come,
I
we
know,
always come back to that.
But that's
baseball, you can't just look on paper and say, oh, man, this team will beat that team, because we all know if you played 10 times, even the team that you think would be outmatched is probably going to win 3.5, 4 times.
No, right, and that's my point, though. It's just 54% of the time that it's not 60 or 65.
Yep.
But I think it will change. It'll get back above 50 for sure.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Desmond. Desmond hit a couple home runs on that road trip.
Yeah, that big night in San Francisco on the Friday night. Hit the home run on Monday night in LA.
Also had an RBI base hit in that game. Strike 3. That's on the bottom of the zone at 96. That's the second strikeout for Romano. And with 2 outs, Tony Walters will come up.
He put this exactly where he wanted it on the Subaru Super Mode. Tucker Barnhart did not even have to move. And he just held it there long enough for Adam Amari to make the call.
So here's Tony making his 21st start of the year. And the Rockies, here's good news. Rockies are 13-7 when Tony is behind the plate. And that's sharply hit and a base hit. And Tony's now 2 for 3 in his matchups against Sal Romano, and that'll bring up Pat Valaika.
It's good to see on a couple levels, individually for Tony, but also for the team in the bottom portion of the lineup. But Black talked about this whole offense. He wasn't just signaling out one particular area or one person. He said, no, we need to get better. And it doesn't matter where we're playing. If it's out on the road, like they had 15 strikeouts on Wednesday, or they're coming home.
And they have struck out at too high a rate at home. This ball's on the ground short. That'll end the inning as Valaika grounds into a 6-4 force out. We move to the 3rd inning. The Reds got 2 in the first. The Rockies have a Nolan Arenado home run, 2-1. offense. That has been the steadiest aspect of this club so far in 2018. And one of the reasons the Rockies are in first place in the NL West, a couple of games north of 500. Tied with Arizona for the top fielding percentage in baseball. And fielding percentage is great. Being able to get to baseballs that a lot of your brethren can't get to is a large part of it also. When you look at Nolan, you look at Trevor Story, you look at DJ when he's in there. Those guys are plus range defenders also.
The range factor.
Yep.
That's what I look at. If you're wondering who's first overall, the Houston Astros. They have a .992 fielding percentage.
Yeah, what can't they do?
Right?
0-1 to Joey Votto. Native of Toronto. Last year he finished second to Giancarlo Stanton in the MVP voting by 2 votes. 2 points really, because it was 302 to 300. This ball's well hit to left, really well hit, and it's over the head of Parra. And Votto will have himself an opposite field double. He gets as many opposite field hits as just about anybody in baseball. In fact, if you watch his BP, he rarely tries to pull the baseball.
That is
he shortens up with no batting gloves, and he sprays balls to left and left center throughout his multiple rounds of batting practice.
Well, even here, he's choked up on the bat a good 2 inches on the Subaru Supermo. That is now Joey's 19th opposite field hit. The guy that's leading in opposite field hits with DJ being out is Scooter Gennett. He's got 21.
Scooter can also pull the baseball, and that's an interesting idea with the leadoff double. You don't see many cleanup hitters do that, but with 3 on the right side and Nolan back, pretty smart play. Fortunately, didn't get it on the ground. Opposite field hits, as Huey was talking about.
Well, Scooter's a gamer. I mean, every scout I talked to, we were talking to some Cincinnati Reds people today. They were just raving about Scooter, and so it would be a smart play for him.
Ball and a strike. For Scooter to play for the Reds, pretty cool thing, because he was born in Cincinnati. Lived in the Cincinnati area till he was about 9, and then his family moved to Sarasota.
And no, Scooter is not his real first name.
Ryan Joseph. It's a much better baseball name, though.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Though, you know, if he was like RJ Jeanette, that's pretty cool too, right?
Yeah.
You can hit with RJ Jeanette.
Oh, yeah.
And a strikeout. That's a big one.
Huge.
So Jeanette is gone. RJ, Scooter, Ryan Joseph. He's got to go away. 1 out. And that'll bring up Eugenio Suarez.
Second strikeout tonight for John, and this time his third. He really buried that curveball. Look at Tony then block it. He's not trying to catch it. He just blocks it to knock it down to then apply the tag.
Suarez was hit on a fastball that just brushed him his first time up. Talked to some people in the Reds organization. As great as Joey Votto has been, so he's been a solid first baseman. I'd say right now the best two-way player on this club, when you include defense and what they've been doing offensively, is probably Suarez.
He only has 3 errors at third.
And this is in the air to deep center field. Charlie's going back, still going back, and this one is gone. So we talked about at the top of the broadcast, it's a hot night, there's very little wind, the ball is flying, and that's a 2-run home run for Suarez. He hit the grand slam yesterday, his 9th of the year. He now has 40 RBIs, and it's 4-1 Cincinnati.
He's now 26 RBIs just in the month of May. four-seam fastball on the Subaru Supermo, but that is too well located, belt high. And he had that natural uppercut too. There was nothing forced there.
Again, it's the fastball that is getting pounded. The last few starts, over 500 batting average against John's fastball. And on the season, it's well over 300.
That's 330 on the season.
This is sharply hit. Valleca makes a nice play to take a knock away from Schebler, 2 outs. The shortstop Peraza will come up. Peraza a few weeks ago turned 24, native of Venezuela. Here's the 1-1. Again, that fastball has a slider, actually. Let me correct that, but he missed up with it. And that has been the theme when we talk about up. It's up in the thigh to belt area. When you're up chest high, you're probably not going to get hurt. Story throws out Peraza. In the inning, there was a double by Votto and a 2-run home run, 429 feet straight away by Suarez. 4-1 Cincinnati. Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. So the Rockies will have 9-1-2. Gray, Blackman, Dahl trailing now 4-1 after the 2-run home run by Eugenio Suarez. Rockies were held to 4 hits, struck out 15 times in that 3-0 loss on Wednesday against the Dodgers. Trying to get the ship right offensively here at home. And over the top fastball at 94 for strike 1 on Gray.
Well, on the season, the Rockies are hitting a collective 228. That's 13th in the National League, 27th in the major leagues. Arizona now occupies the bottom spot in all of baseball. They're hitting .213. Part of the reason why they've lost 13 out of their last 14.
Inside on Gray. 2-2. Romano misses up top. 3-2. Romano, originally a 23rd round pick. 2011 out of Southington, Connecticut.
715th pick overall that year. Oh, looked like it was off the Subaru strike zone. And John thought he had a walk.
That'll bring up Blackman. He fouled out to Suarez down the third base line. Up top, ball one on Charlie. Home run by Nolan in the first. Rocky's 61st home run this year.
Just their 21st at home, 40 out on the road.
Yeah, how about that? Charlie last year hit .345 against the Reds. And this ball is hammered deep right, and it is going to elude Schebler on the ricochet. Good job by Hamilton helping out, and Charlie's got himself a line drive, 1-out double.
Schebler was caught in no man's land. You know, thinking he could get back to get to this baseball, but it was hit so hard that he wasn't going to catch up to it, and then he got too close to the wall to make a play. And you're right, Drew. He was lucky that Billy Hamilton was racing over, ball up at the belt for Charlie. And he got the barrel out on that one. Fifth double this year for Charlie. So Billy's not backing it up. That's a triple.
Easily. Here's Dahl. Hamilton playing a very shallow center field right now. And this is up the middle. Jeanette saves a run. First and third, 1 out. Here comes Nolan.
That was a seeing eye base hit for David. He'll take it after going 2 for 22 on the road trip. Hit the ball pretty square the first time up, right up the middle too. But Scooter just knows that I don't have a play anywhere. I'm just going to knock this ball down, and he gets it into his glove on the Subaru Supermo. He immediately looked to third base to see if he could get Charlie rounding the bag. He wasn't even looking at first.
Outside, ball one. Nolan's first time up. He clicked one 425 feet to the extreme right center portion of this ballpark.
He came off the bat at 104 miles an hour.
9th home run for Nolan. Foul ball.
First 2 pitches he saw from Romano were sliders. I'm not going to feed him a fastball where he can tie this game up.
And that's interesting because Romano throws that about 3.5% of the time.
Well, I know, and that's what I was saying. You know, you're coming into a game with scouting reports. That's really not even in the back of your mind if it's thrown that little.
Here's another slider. 2 balls and a strike.
Big guy is Sal, 6'5", 270 pounds.
Play left tackle for the Bengals in the fall. Actually, that's like a medium-sized tight end these days.
Right?
Outside. And this is the way Nolan has been pitched basically all season long until somebody really starts doing damage behind him. Even with traffic out there, it's away, away, away.
Until somebody says, we can beat you too, then that's when they'll start pitching to Nolan again.
There's always that glance in the on-deck circle. 3-1, and not even close. So now the bases are loaded for Parra, and with the Rockies down by 3 runs, they have to take advantage of this opportunity here in the third. Good patient at bat
That's
for
where
Nolan.
I was going to go. With Nolan, to Nolan's credit, he went fishing on the one pitch, the second pitch of that at bat. But after that, he knew that they weren't going to give him anything. So he said, I'll take my walk, I'll pass the baton. And that's where now, when you're going well as a team, that's when you go, okay, I'll pass the baton to the next guy and he'll do it.
Last homestand, we were lamenting the fact that the Rockies had many situations where 3 straight guys had gotten on, or it's 3 straight hits. Well, 3 straight have gotten on here. See if the Rockies can really put an inning together. Parra struck out his first time. See what he learned from that. Base hit up the middle. That's what he learned. One runner scored. Here comes David Dahl home. Billy Hamilton won't throw. He's going to throw to third, and the Rockies have Nolan hung up. And look at that. They get out of it.
Wow.
They get out of it. Second and third, still 1 out. 4-3 ball game. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Well, first let's go to the pitch for Gerardo. He was struck out in his first at bat. Romano turned the fastball over on the Subaru Supermo, and Gerardo right back up the middle for RBIs number 12 and 13. And now is when it becomes interesting. Because you know the first 2 guys are going to score, but then Billy Hamilton fakes like he's throwing it home. Nolan thinks he's going to continue to go there. Gerardo's too far off of first, so he goes ahead, goes to second base. By the time Joey Votto then threw it to Suarez, Nolan's able to go into third.
And here's Trevor Story, second and third. All right, Huey, you're an old Chicago Cub infield instructor. What do you have on that rundown?
Not real good. I think if you're Suarez, you start to go to the guy at second base, get the lead runner.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
No, why would you throw all the way across the diamond, allowing him then to go to second base and Nolan to continue to go to third? Well, this is the acting pitching coach tonight, Ted Powers. I mean, they brought up Danny Darwin, longtime major leaguer. He was down in their minor league team at Pensacola when they made the changes, but he's back home attending a family function. His daughter is, I believe, getting married today or tomorrow. So
Danny Darwin has one of the great nicknames of all time when he pitched. Dr. Death.
Double D, Dr. Death.
You faced him,
yeah,
and he'd buzz the tower
if you looked at him cross-eyed, if you spit the wrong way, it didn't. He didn't need a reason.
Right. What's your nickname on the hill? Dr. Death. Okay, I know what you're all about. There we go. Outside, good eye from Trevor, and he's in the driver's seat now, 2-0. Nolan's at third, Parra at second.
And if you're Trevor, you've got to kind of approach this the same way Nolan approached his at bat. That they're not going to throw anything inside to you. If they do, it's going to be a mistake. But they're going to work the ball, try to work it off the plate or at least on the corner away from you.
And he went slider, and it's 3-0.
Just like that. I mean, this is what you learn on the on-deck circle. You also learn it watching while you're waiting to get to the on-deck circle.
And they'll go ahead and intentionally walk Story. So an opportunity for Ian Desmond, who despite the 181 batting average has thrown out some big hits, some timely ones, especially with the long ball.
think, too, for Ian, we've seen that Sal Romano likes to throw to his arm side. Okay, that's where he's more comfortable throwing.
And we've also seen Desi use right field effectively. Well, that's arm side, or excuse me, that's glove side. But that's like 2 feet off the plate. That won't work. 1-0. 5 straight Rockies have reached. Blackman double, Dahl single, Arenado walk, Parra single. Intentional pass to Trevor Story. Jim Riggleman is understandably concerned. He had a 4-1 lead a moment ago. It's 4-3 right now. That was a borderline pitch, called a strike, and a good job by Desmond. That's not a pitch you want to swing at. He's going to discuss it with Adam Amari. That's the longest, honestly, that's the longest time I've ever seen. Ian comes up, he's focused. You don't see him say a whole lot.
No.
That's a lengthy discussion in the middle of an at-bat.
And I think what he's saying is, wait a second, there's been a walk in this inning, and then just a 3-0, then an intentional walk, and you're giving this youngster a pitch that's real borderline. But that being the case, though, you got to eliminate that from your mind. I mean, it's okay. You had your piece. Now you got to refocus.
And now, I say this frequently, this is one of those, you got to get it in play.
You have to.
Cannot have an empty at bat. Bases loaded. One of the strengths of Ian Desmond is how well he runs. Slowly hit to third. They're going to come home with it. And they'll get the force out on Arenado. 2 outs.
Well, that was the only person besides the pitcher that could have made that play going home. The way it was hit, Suarez charging the ball. And you don't have to worry about the runner. That's an easy toss to get the lead runner, Nolan. Tucker getting out of the way, knowing that he's not going to complete that double play.
We always talk about the runner at first breaking up too. That's a situation where Nolan's trying to break up any potential double play. Here's Walters outside. Tony, a sharp single his first time up. 3 at bats against Romano, 2 hits.
For Tony, you have to also understand now that the pitcher's still in trouble. I mean, yeah, you got the second out, but he still has the bases loaded, and he hasn't been real sharp this inning with any of his pitches.
And lefties have hurt him badly this year. This is popped up, and Barnhart is not going to have a play. That was close. Good view of it. That's about as good a view as you'll ever get.
A little gray in that beard.
Here's the 1-1 on Walters. 2-1. I would think he'll challenge him here. I don't want to fall behind 3-1. Tony, get that barrel out here.
Exactly right.
He got the fastball. The bat went flying. Foul ball, 2-2. Dave, you're
Dave, you okay? Watch how quickly Dave has to move. Trying to get out of the way.
You have a left-handed batter up. You feel I'm pretty safe
Hey,
here.
that's one of the last things on your mind, that he's going to lose the bat and it's going to come hurling towards me.
2-2. Bases full of Rockies. 2 runs in for Colorado here in the 3rd.
See if he shook to a curveball. He did.
He did. He didn't get on top of it, so now it's 3-2.
That wasn't the original pitch that Tucker had called. Salad shook to that, so that was all on him. But now, if you're Tony, you say, well, he has to throw me a fastball, right? He hadn't thrown anything else for a strike.
3-2 with 2 outs. Ball 4, and the Rockies get the equalizer as Parra scores. It's the 2nd time this year that Tony has walked with the bases loaded. The other time, it won a ball game.
It's a walk-off walk. Well, however they get it, they've tied this ball game up.
Third walk in the inning.
Well, that was an issue for Sal in his last start. He had a career-high 6 walks in that game against the Cubs.
Yeah, you have him on the edge right now. Pat Valaika grounded to short his first time up.
There's nobody warming up in the Reds bullpen.
The last 2 starts for Sal have been rough, and this one is turning that direction. This is in the air, but right at Winker and left. The Rockies get 3 to tie it. We'll go to the 4th. The Rockies 4, the Reds 4. Subaru, a Subaru by O'Toole's Garden Centers, putting the color in Colorado, and by T-Mobile. Show your military appreciation and use the hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. T-Mobile will donate $1 for each post. Gotta love the prepping of a baseball field, huh? We played 3 innings, absolutely nothing decided. The Rockies with 4, the Reds with 4, both clubs with 5 hits. John Gray has a new life as he'll face Sal Romano, Billy Hamilton, and Jesse Winker. 8-9-1 here in the 4th inning for Cincinnati. Struck him out his first time up. That pitch is high. Sal Romano, it reminds me of, where I grew up, Huey.
New York?
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of my friends, it's like, hey, you want to go to Sal Romano? Man, he has the deli on 3rd Avenue. Let's go.
Go to Sal's.
Yeah. Buddies from Missouri, Lenny DeBerry, Matthew Cacciato, they're all there. Get your pastrami on rye.
Oh, yeah, me there.
I didn't know that. Your pastrami on rye guy?
Yeah, for sure. I like that.
You like that?
Uh-huh. A little Swiss cheese.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's outside 2-2. Turkey hoagie. That's strike 3 on Sal Romano. He'll have to go back to the deli. 1 out. And that'll bring up Billy Hamilton, former wide receiver recruit at Mississippi State. Billy struck out his first time. And fouls that one off. Ball or strike 1. Here's the 1-1 to Hamilton. He showed bunt, pulled the bat back, and the breaking ball was called a strike. Billy's actually had a better May than April. He was in the 170s in April. He's in the mid-230s so far in May.
He's a career .248 hitter coming into the season.
This is actually, Huey, the 33rd time this year he's batted 9th. That's where he's been most of the time. He's only batted in the leadoff spot 9 times. And this one is going to get through a base hit. So now Gray will have to contend with the speed of Billy Hamilton.
Well, the first 15,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies-Reds game tomorrow night will receive a 25th anniversary season all-time 25 roster t-shirt. That's courtesy of 106.7 The Bull.
Hamilton's 8 out of 10 stealing bases. He's actually been matched by the shortstop Peraza in the stolen base department. Peraza's 8 out of 8.
I think the difference there, though, is once Billy gets on, everybody knows he's going to try to steal a base.
Yep.
Really, once he gets out there, he just kind of keeps inching. So we keep his feet moving an inch closer and closer to second base. That's where, as a pitcher, you've got to hold him. You've got to make him stop.
And John does a really good job of holding the baseball to freeze the feet.
See how he's starting to creep? He was creeping back a moment ago because he didn't like how long John was holding. That's I like what we're able to do there with the Subaru StatCast and show how far off a base somebody is getting. And about 12 feet, 13 feet is about a maximum lead. Watch his feet. They're still continuing to move, but then they stop.
A little closer.
Yeah. Remember when Charlie Huff, I was playing behind Charlie Huff, knuckleball pitcher. Ricky Henderson's on first. You would think that Ricky would just run for days. He very rarely stole the base off Charlie because Charlie would hold the ball, hold the ball. Finally, Ricky would just yell out, "I'm not going." Because he's
right?
like, "Yeah, deliver the ball home, please."
Sometimes, though, this is what speed at first does. You lose your focus a little bit. Those were 2 pretty significant misses to Winker.
Well, because you're trying to rush home. And what happens when you rush as a pitcher? You leave your arm behind or you fly open.
Three and 0. Don't pitch yourself into a situation. You have Barnhart and then the big 3 for Cincinnati now. Votto, Jeanette, and Suarez.
Especially after you just tied this game up. You scored 3 in the bottom of the 3rd.
And on 4 pitches, he loses Jesse Winker. So now they're 2 on for Barnhart, who's 1 for 2.
Second walk tonight to Winker. Gotta get some activity out in the Rockies bullpen. Chris Russin just trotting out to start to get loose.
So Barnhart will step up. He had a ground ball single in the first, and he grounded out to short to end the second inning. Story position about 3 or 4 feet shortstop side of the bag behind Billy Hamilton.
I think for John too, that helps him out here, because you know, as long as you're right behind Billy and you get him to stop, he won't try to steal third.
Go breaking ball, it misses.
But you can just tell, right, as soon as Billy got on, the whole dynamic changed.
Hamilton takes off for third, and no throw. Ninth stolen base for Hamilton.
24 stolen base for the Reds.
He knows he has it. He saw something, because he's got an open side. When we talk about open side, there's not a right-handed bat in there, so it's a much easier throw for the catcher Walters, but he had no shot.
None.
And that's a strike. Winker at first does not run well at all. You look and you say, well, he's a leadoff hitter. He's leading off right now for the Reds, but speed is not his game. So
like
he didn't even attempt to try to follow.
Oh, because that's where the Rockies would have thrown to second base to get him.
Oftentimes, you can take people through this. When there's runners at first and second, the catcher goes out and signals to the infield where he's going. The vast majority of the time, he's throwing behind. He's throwing to second base.
Well, because the guy at first has to wait to see if that guy is actually stealing third. He can't take off at the same time. So his steps are, you know, he's a step behind the lead runner. That's why you throw behind a second, especially with somebody like Billy Hamilton speed at third.
No brainer. First and third, 3 and 2 on Barnhart. Four in the fourth, Rockies and Reds. Runner going, and this is popped up. Blake had a little better angle.
Well, you had a better angle because Trevor, with the runner at first taking off and the left-hander, Trevor had gone towards the bag. So it was easier from where Pat was to get an angle on that ball instead of Trevor trying to backpedal.
You talk about having to grind through from a pitcher standpoint. You're going to have to grind here with the great Joey Votto at the plate. A single and a double, 2 runs scored already for Votto today. A really slow start to the season, especially when it came to the long ball. He's got 6 now. This is lifted to shallow right. Dahl's got a long run. Valleca going out. It'll be Pat. And a nice job by Gray to work himself out of that situation. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth, tied at 4 at Coors Field.
in the bottom of the 4th inning. Hey fans, get your tickets now for the Dodgers' first visit to Coors Field this season, June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at Rockies.com.
John Gray will lead it off in the 4th inning, and then Blackman and Dahl. First pitch is in there, strike one. John struck out looking at a 3-2 borderline pitch his first at bat. Rockies sent 9 to the plate in the 3rd inning. Scored 3 times to tie it up at 4. Rockies got a run in the 1st on a Nolan Arenado home run. Gray gone. That is the 4th strikeout for Sal Romano.
This is what he did in the 3rd inning. Leadoff strikeout of John Gray, and then after that, the Rockies offense came alive with 3 runs and 3 hits, 3 walks.
Charlie launched a double off the right field wall, and he takes high ball 1. And Charlie, another base hit.
What was Buddy saying about somebody's going to pay?
Yeah, you know a bunch of somebodies are going to pay when Charlie Blackmon enters the game on May 25th, hitting .263. He is a 300+ hitter. 2 pretty good bats right there talking in Votto and Blackmon. Here's David Dahl. He's 1 for 2. Ball 1 on David. And this ball past a diving Votto. Blackmon will go 1st to 3rd on the base hit by Dahl. Here we go again. Two on in a 4-4 game with 1 out, with Arenado approaching the plate. Time for Achieving More. It's brought to you by AT&T. Most total bases in the league since 2015. Arenado, Blackmon, Votto. 2 other guys on that list, rather prominent big leaguers, Chris Bryant and Paul Goldschmidt, the currently struggling Paul Goldschmidt.
And that does include tonight's game for Joey and for Nolan.
Nolan got nothing to hit in his last at bat when he came up with traffic. Everything was well off the plate.
And I think the same could be true for this at bat for him.
May have been shocked by that. That was a center cut fastball.
I don't think he was expecting that one.
Jackson Stevens is up right now in the Cincinnati pen. One and one. And this ball slowly hit the short. Nolan didn't get out of the box well, and he is out at first, and that cost the Rockies a run on that 6-4-3 double play. 4-4 as we go to the 5th. in the bottom of the third inning. Lost an opportunity there on the double play ball off the bat of Nolan Arenado. We go to the dugout. Buddy Black, as he does every Friday, joins us. Buddy, take us through John Gray's outing so far. I know you're looking for fastball consistency, and it seems to be he's off again a little bit with his command.
Yeah, I think so, Drew. We've talked about that the last couple of weeks. The Reds have taken advantage of some fastballs that haven't been located. This inning, and hopefully maybe one more, John's got to reel it in.
Yeah, and for the offense, you mentioned it in your daily press conference about Charlie Blackmon getting hot now, and David Dahl a couple hits tonight too.
Yeah, it's good to see those guys at the top of the order. Nolan had a shot there. They walked him the previous at bat. It was good to see Parr get a base hit. So hopefully getting a little closer.
All right, there you go,
thanks,
buddy. Good
buddy.
luck the rest of the way. Scooter Gennett takes a breaking ball for a strike. And now 0-2. Real shame of it. You had the situation you wanted. You had the RBI king in baseball at the plate. First and third, good speed on both corners. And you end up getting a double play ball. And I thought off the bat it wasn't hit hard enough to turn two. Now, obviously, Nolan's not a flyer. Gennett's gone. And you, from our vantage point, you look at baseball and then you try to grab the runner, and sometimes with a big swing you spin out a little bit, and Nolan didn't get a great jump out of the box. So unfortunately, if he's able to beat it, you get a run and you have a 5-4 lead.
Yeah, kind of reached for that ball, and then Peraza made a pretty nice turn to get rid of that ball at shortstop, but then still for Nolan came within an eyelash of kind of beating that one out.
One ball, one strike on Suarez. Strikeout of Gennett, the fifth for Gray. Suarez, a two-run home run to straightaway center field his last time up. Leading the National League with 40 ribbies.
Machado has 44 RBIs. He leads all of baseball. And then some guy named JD Martinez has 41.
Well, there were a lot of free agent signings and some delayed free agent signings in the offseason. Boston won the JD Martinez sweepstakes, and so far so good, right?
Yes.
If you take his second half with Arizona, strike three on Suarez. You take his second half, Huey, with Arizona last year, and you put it with what he's put together thus far in Beantown. It's a pretty good full season, huh?
It is, and then he hit another home run tonight. They just got Dustin Pedroia back today. And
Hanley Ramirez, amazingly, I say amazingly, was DFA'd because Hanley, about a week or so ago, was hitting close to 300. I think he's got like 6 home runs, driven in 20 plus.
He was down to 243, but still not horrible numbers for.
Yeah, he
know what I mean?
Decent numbers still. Listen, I think it was actually above that, but even if it was 243, I think it was like 253, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's still around league average or slightly better.
And JD Martinez with that home run has 16, so he's tied with Machado. Oh, Mookie Betts, not Machado. Mookie Betts.
2-1 on Schebler. Three balls and a strike on Schebler. And he draws a walk. chance to have a 1-2-3 inning. Here are the exact numbers on, you know, the old-time numbers on Hanley. 254 average,
Okay.
6 home runs, 29 ribbies.
And he's DFA'd.
Yeah.
He has 7 days now.
When his name comes across, that's going to open up a lot of eyes with executives in baseball. See where the next stop is for Hanley Ramirez, who can swing a deal, I'm sure, with Boston. Peraza, a fly ball to right field and a ground ball to short. And this is a ground ball to Nolan. He'll go the short way. And that'll end the inning. Good solid inning for John Gray. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Rockies 4, Reds 4. Parra will lead it off.
We're joined now by a very special guest, Nicole Hensley. She's a graduate of Green Mountain, and she's also a member of the U.S. Women's National Hockey Team that won gold in the Olympics. I got to touch her gold medal for the first time ever. It's the closest I'll ever get to winning a gold medal. So, Nicole, can you take me through that moment when you guys won that gold medal? What was that like?
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was just like hugging and screaming and tears for a good 2 minutes afterwards. And then, you know, they actually had to stop the celebration and be like, we need you guys to line up so we can give you the medals. And we're like, oh yeah, of course. So, you know, then to get to stand in a line and sing the national anthem with 22 of your best friends was a crazy experience.
So when they put the medal around your neck, was it heavier than you expected?
I don't know if I even noticed right away. It was pretty much like I grabbed it and I bit it for the camera. You know, that was kind of my first move, but they are the heaviest ones ever, so we picked a good year to win.
I would say so. Now, before we came back on camera, Nicole and I were talking about some of the life lessons that you've learned through this process. What would you say the biggest thing you've learned from the time that you started chasing the gold medal to when you won is?
Yeah, I definitely say the biggest thing for me is not letting anybody tell you no. You know, playing hockey as a girl, a lot of people don't see it as a sport for girls necessarily. So to kind of step up and not be afraid to get out there with the guys, I think is a huge thing. And then at the same time, playing a team sport, you get to play with so many different kinds of people, and it really teaches you teamwork and how to work together to achieve that common goal.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much. We are so proud of you. Drew, we'll send it back up to you.
Yeah, how cool is that? And I remember watching many of their games from last winter. One of the greatest hockey games I've ever seen. Do you remember 4 years ago when they took on Canada? The gold medal
really?
game.
I mean, those are two powerhouses.
Yeah, the clear two best teams in the world.
Yes.
Here's the 1-0 to Story. And Trevor takes a strike.
But it was fun to see in the Olympics. You had Nicole from Colorado. You had Troy Terry from Colorado. Just to see those two Olympians compete. Root extra hard.
We always talk about how baseball has grown at the amateur level in Colorado, and so has hockey.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's because of the Rockies and the Avalanche.
That's right. When the Avs moved here,
It was like
they were
a
the
couple
deal.
of rings. That was it.
Yeah, and then it's just ballooned from there. You got a lot of top tier AAA programs, Colorado Thunderbirds being one of them.
It's outside. It's 3-1 on Story. Kyle Houston, a former Thunderbird.
That's right. Angelo Ricci and his program stout every year. They won the U16s a few years back, national champs.
Called a strike, 3-2. Angelo, a great pioneer.
Jim Montgomery just leaving DU to go become the head coach of the Dallas Stars.
A couple of major college
David Quinn.
coaches going to the NHL. 2 outs.
And David Quinn going from BU to New York Rangers. Former Avs assistant coach under Joe Sacco.
Here's Desi with 2 outs. And this is a 2-hopper to short. Peraza's got it. And that's all for the Rockies in their half of the 5th inning. So we move on to the 6th, tied at 4. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Beautiful view, City Park, downtown skyline. The Rockies and Reds tied at 4 with Jeff Houston and Taylor McGregor. I'm Drew Goodman. John Gray continuing on in the 6th inning. The last couple of innings have been scoreless for him. And Sal Romano will lead it off 8-9-1 in the 6th inning. And that's fouled off. 0-1.
Mike Dunn up in the Rockies bullpen.
1-2. There was a report on the increased home run rate that Major League Baseball put out that we're going to show you momentarily, that has drawn a lot of commentary. We feel obligated to throw our 2 cents in as well. There's strike 3. Basically, the studies showed that the baseball hadn't changed at all, because, there were some pitchers complaining that the baseball had to be juiced with the number of home runs that have been hit. What they did find, and they don't know why, that there is slightly less drag on the baseball the last couple of years. But they emphatically said the home run surge is not because of, quote, juiced baseballs, the weather, or change in pitch strategies. The seams are the same. The weight of the baseball is the same. They have not determined, though, why there's slightly less drag. And for me, it comes to a couple of things. There's one element of the sport that's disappointed. That's guys like John Gray, pitchers. They don't want to see the ball fly out of the ballpark. There's another element of the sport, the guys that get paid to hit, that probably have no issue with the fact that there's slightly less drag. But one big picture thing, if I can finish for a moment, are all those people we see behind Billy Hamilton. I haven't heard a lot of people complaining, boy, oh boy, you know what? I'd rather see 8 Punch and Judy guys get up there and then the pitcher.
Exactly right. So they had to write an 84-page report. That's what it was. It was finally 84 pages to come up with that information that they don't know why. Wouldn't that be like one paragraph?
And Huey, you made a great point, and there's some others that have made this point before. The Rockies and now Arizona have humidors.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's not mandatory throughout the league. Because you want to have a uniform baseball, we'll have the conditions where they're stored uniform.
Yeah, despite, whether you're at altitude or Baltimore
matter, right.
or New York, whatever it is.
Right. I mean, you had Deflategate in football because you thought they weren't being stored properly. But why not store baseballs in a humidor and make sure everybody's on the same page? I don't get it.
I think that makes a lot of sense. 1-2-3 inning for John Gray. The John has gotten stronger. Now the Rockies need to get going offensively. Tied up at 4.
The 7, 8, 9 for the Rockies. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details.
So Tony Walters will lead it off. John Gray in the dugout getting a handshake from the manager, Buddy Black. John did get stronger as the evening went on. Gave up 2 in the first, 2 in the third. Nothing after that. And John on the evening ends up with 8 strikeouts.
6 hits.
Now, we used to say at Coors Field that, you know, instead of the old 3-run, 6 innings quality start, Coors Field is probably 4-run, 6 innings is still a pretty solid outing.
And I think too, if you're John, the way the game started with 3 seeing eye base hits, and you're down 2-0 after the 2 rough starts coming into this, that you look at it and say, okay, I gave up the 2 in the first, gave up 2 in the third, but then only 1 hit after that. And that was to Billy Hamilton. 100 pitches on the nose for John, 61 for strikes.
Well, it's 3-0 now on Tony. He'll be taken here. And that's a strike. Wandy Peralta is now up in Cincinnati's bullpen. They really only have 1 lefty tonight. They have 2 in their bullpen, but Amir Garrett threw 2 innings yesterday for Jim Riggleman. Ball 4. So Tony draws another walk. He's been on all 3 times tonight. Go-ahead run to first. Pat Faleka coming up. You're going to have a pinch hitter behind him. Pat struggling with the bat. He's an outstanding bunter. He may be the best bunter on the Rockies roster. I just throw that, out there.
And I know why you're saying it, because you're late in the game. You're in the 6th inning. If you can get that 1-run lead, hopefully, and then turn it over to your bullpen as Noel Cuevas comes to the on-deck circle. The thing you could think about doing too is, you don't want to necessarily bunt. Maybe try the old hit and run and make sure you get on top of it if you're Pat.
Tony takes off. There's the hit and run, and it works out nicely. Could have worked out a little bit better if it snuck through the right side. Well, you're all over that, Huey. First pitch after the walk. Figure he's going to pump one in there.
Yep, and
Pat did a good job hitting the top half of the baseball.
And when you're scuffling and when you're not swinging the bat well, sometimes you invite the hit and run because it gets you back to the basics of a swing. All I have to do is see the ball. I got to try to stay inside the baseball and get on top of it.
So Noel Cuevas called on here to pinch hit. And Cuevas hits this ball deep to right field. Stay fair, and it will. Trapped in the corner. Walters will come around third. Cuevas on his way to third. A run-scoring triple for pinch hitter Noel Cuevas. 5-4 Colorado. First career triple for Cuevas.
Now 4 for 14 as a pinch hitter for Noel. Comes off the bench. That's what you have to do. You have to be aggressive as a pinch hitter. So you get 1 pitch, you get that fastball in the Subaru Super Mode. Oh, excuse me, that was a hanging slider. Either way, it was fat and juicy, and Noel takes it to right field, puts the Rockies ahead. Well, think about that little hit and run that you had between Pat and Tony.
Outstanding execution at the bottom of the lineup for the Rockies. And there's a happy Cuevas, and he just ran off Sal Romano.
He also helped out his pitcher, John Gray. He's now on the plus side.
New arm when we come back for the Reds. Colorado up 5-4. Infield in is Noel Cuevas, who just triples at third with one out. Wandy Peralta in to face Charlie Blackmon. David Dahl's behind him. Charlie an opportunity to drive in his 24th run. He's had a really good ball game. A double and a single already. It'll be the 27th appearance for Peralta. Lefty's hitting .222 against him.
Those 27 appearances tied Brian Shaw for the most in the National League. Wendy has not allowed an earned run since May 6th.
And this is popped up in
This could be
shallow
trouble.
left. Yeah, because the infield being in. And it's a nice play by Peraza. And Cuevas will remain at third, and it'll be left to David Dahl.
Not only was Peraza fighting where he was positioned on the infield because he was all the way in, had to run back, kind of glancing over his shoulder, but it's that dusk time. And sometimes when you're running back for a ball and you're trying to peek over your shoulder where it is, what's going on, you might lose sight of it. He did not. Well played by Peraza.
Now David Dahl also has had a nice ball game. Couple singles in 3 at bats tonight for David. Good swing on a pitch out over the plate. Looks like he held up 1-1.
Let's see the first pitch on the Subaru strike zone where he just tried to go away to David. And to the lefties for Peralta, fastball slider. 95 on the fastball, around 87, 88 on the slider.
Ooh, David had one to hit there. He wants that one back.
Yeah, center cut on the Subaru strike zone at 88 miles an hour. Sure he does.
Dahl lifts this right at Billy Hamilton. The Rockies take the lead, though. A walk to Walters and a pinch triple by Noel Cuevas. 5-4 Colorado going to the 7th. Pitching performance. Sal Romano went 5 1/3. He's on the short end right now. John Gray, who started slowly but 3 strong innings to finish is on the plus side. 4 runs on 6 hits. He struck out 8 in 100 pitches. On the bullpen now, Mike Dunn has the baseball in the 7th inning. Barnhart, Votto, and Jeanette. It'll be the 17th appearance for Mike.
Barnhart 0 for 1 career against Mike Dunn. The switch hitter Barnhart hitting .375 right-handed.
Strike 1 on Barnhart, a single and a run scored in the first, 1 for 3. Brian Shaw is throwing in the Rockies' pen as well right now. And Mike's curveball's low. Two and 1. And that's way low. 3 balls and a strike.
Mike pitched just 1 time in the Dodgers series. 1 inning, 1 strikeout.
And a ground ball on the wrong side of third base. 3 and 2 on Barnhart. Out of the Hoosier State. He was drafted out of high school, 10th round, back in 2009. Devin Mesoraco used to be in the mix behind the plate at one point.
Yeah, he did.
Mesoraco is a future star.
But then he was traded.
Yeah, traded him for Matt Harvey, who the Rockies will see on Sunday. Hard shot, and even Nolan couldn't come up with that. Story will track it down in short left field. It's a leadoff single for Barnhart. He's 2 for 4.
You know you've done something when you can hit one past the diving Nolan. He's not able to stop it. Came off the bat pretty hard, and just 1 hop skipped off the grass. 102 miles an hour off the bat.
So here's Votto, single in the first, he scored a run, doubled in the third, leading off and would score a run. He popped to second with runners at first and third to end the 4th inning. That was a big out for John Gray.
Yeah, it was. Not just for the team, but I think for him mentally too.
Rocky could come back to tie it, and to prevent them from going ahead once again. That was huge.
Votto 1 for 12 in the previous matchups with Mike Dunn.
Mike getting an opportunity here where typically we'd see Jake McGee. That's close. But smidgen inside, evidently. 2 and 1. Votto walks as much as anybody in baseball. Last year, he walked 134 times. Struck out only 83 times. That led to an on-base percentage of .454. He also hit 320 with 36 homers and 100 driven in.
And it was about this time last year that he started to get hot.
Yeah, his second half was out of this world last year.
I still don't think it should have been second place MVP worthy.
Well, I think when you factor in the kind of season Cincinnati had.
That's why. That's
Yeah.
why I say offensively, yeah, I mean, you're talking Silver Slugger type of award, or some of the other offensive awards that they have. But MVP candidate to me, and will be one of those guys that helps their club.
Well,
Because that was a knock on Nolan 2 years ago when he finished 5th. Well, the Rockies didn't make the playoffs.
Well, they went and voted for 2 guys at the top of the list. They had great years. It's not a slight on
not
Joey
at all.
Votto or Giancarlo Stanton, but neither one of their teams were a factor in their respective divisions.
Yeah, but that's where you could have said, I would have certainly understood if you say Paul Goldschmidt
Absolutely.
was the MVP.
Yeah, Goldschmidt ended up finishing 3rd. Then it was Nolan and Charlie. And as so frequently happens in Joey Votto at bats, it's now a 3-2 count.
Bat control for Joey. I mean, the last guy that choked up as much as he did that I can think of is Barry Bonds. Look at how much Joey's up on the off the end of the bat.
And this should be 2. Nice job. Trevor Story got over there and then had to redirect himself, didn't he?
Yes, he did. But what he did is once he caught this, he kind of drops the left leg and opens up the hips to make the throw to second base for the 50th double play the Rockies have turned. So he's sliding over, but watch the left leg, how it's already opened up. And then that gives you a good feed, and for a second baseman, perfect look on the Subaru Supermo. Now as a second baseman, all you'd have to do is touch the bag, catch it, and make the transfer, and you throw them out by 2 steps. But it all comes down to the feed. I always tell kids, and you've heard this from me many, many times, what's the job of the guy that's catching the ball first?
Turn 1.
Exactly. You're not turning 2. If you think 2, then you give that guy a bad feed, then he can't do his job. Your job is to get that lead first guy, give him a good feed. Trevor did that.
Yep.
Of course, Mike's going to appreciate this. Yeah. Way to go, Trevor.
I just think that's a great way to explain it. It also takes natural heat off a fielder instead of thinking I got to rush everything.
Yep. Exactly right. If you think, oh, I got to rush it, I got to turn 2. That's going to happen naturally if you make a good throw.
Nolan may have a play. Did he catch that? No.
No.
I also believe, and I know you do, that don't try to be quick, try to be smooth. Smooth becomes quick.
Right. You think quick, what happens? You rush. So when you go to grab the ball, how many times you see infielders, especially at the high school, maybe college level, they'll throw the ball up out of their glove.
Yeah.
Or they'll just drop it because they're trying to be so quick.
And if you consistently, to your original point, if you consistently get lead runners, you'll be okay.
Yes. Well, that gives that extra 90 feet that somebody's got to go. So that was textbook, Trevor. I applaud you.
He's played a Gold Glove caliber defense for a year and a half now. That's not like he was bad his rookie year, but he continues to improve. Swung on and missed. Mike Dunn fans Jeanette. 3rd time Jeanette has fanned in the game. And it turns into a very nice inning for Mike Dunn. Rockies up 5-4 as we stretch at Coors Field. It is time for our Cooney Let's Just Look Back, and you're seeing some of the images tonight. Suarez, a 2-run home run. Then Parr had a 2-run base hit. Rockies would tie it up. They had been down 4-1. And this is the go-ahead RBI. The pinch hitter, Noel Cuevas, with his first career triple. And the Rockies lead 5-4. That scored Tony Walters, who had led off the inning with a walk. Wandy Peralta's still out there. Nolan, Gerardo Parra, Trevor Story.
Wandy just 6 pitches. Came in relief. Touched the outside of the Subaru strike, so with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, what he averages on his fastball.
Nolan, a home run back in the first. Outside. Fastball changeup slider from Peralta. That looked like a changeup, maybe a slider. It was hard to tell. Didn't do a lot. 2-1.
You know it's not a good pitch when you can't decide what it was.
You stood in the batter's box a bunch. What was that?
A ball.
That was what it was, yeah.
Yeah, a ball.
Ball 2. On the very outer edge of the Subaru strike zone, perhaps 2-2.
What a gorgeous night.
Oh, it's past the rough weather, we hope, and so many great nights like this to follow over the next few months. Summer-like throughout the weekend. Three and 2. And ball 4. Notice how the Rockies carved out a run last inning. A leadoff walk to Walters. And that'll be bringing up Gerardo Parra. Tonight's attendance is brought to you by Cricket Wireless. 33,193 in the house.
And I always think like today is the start officially of summer. I know it's not until the middle of June what, 21st, 22nd, but this weekend to me, all the kids getting out of school, graduations.
Memorial Day weekend. Yeah.
Start of summer.
The pool opens. You going swimming tomorrow?
Yeah.
Outside on Parra.
You got some baseball tomorrow.
Got a little baseball tomorrow. 4 in the state. Looking forward to that.
You play at noon?
Arapahoe at noon against
right?
Mountain Range, and then in the morning game it'll be Heritage taking on Mountain Vista.
Heritage still undefeated.
Heritage unbeaten. They're 3-0, and everybody else in the double elimination Final 4, final Elite 8 has 1 loss, so it's on, right?
That's right.
Special time of year for all the spring sports culminating.
4A will finish up, I believe, starting Monday.
They got pushed back a little bit with the weather. Parra drives this ball to deep center field. Hamilton on his horse will make the catch. And Nolan will go all the way back to first.
And that's why he's playing center field here.
I don't know how many center fielders make this play.
Well, and as shallow as he was playing, too. You talked about it in the first or second inning. But he goes back and reaches up and knows exactly where he is, because once he catches it, he feels the gravel underneath his cleats, knowing he's on the warning track, and that wall's closing in fast. I understand the frustration, Gerardo.
So Jim Riggleman is going to go to his bullpen again with 1 out. Story coming up. Arenado at first. The Rockies leading in the 7th, 5-4. Always for fun.
It's always fun when you have cotton candy, isn't it?
Well, it's fun, as you mentioned, when you're out of school and you have cotton candy. It's our Lodge Casino. First choice for fun, fun camera. 5-4 Rockies. Trevor Story, 0 for 2 in an intentional walk, facing Tanner Rainey, who worked a couple of scoreless innings on Wednesday against the Pirates.
They began the season in Louisville. Came up when they designated Gallardo for assignment. And just recalled a few days ago.
And the first pitch at 97 miles an hour is in there for a strike. You see the numbers put up by Alex Reyes as he makes his way back to the big leagues for St. Louis?
Well, some of the numbers I've seen are the MPHs. You know, 100, 101, 102. Coming back from Tommy John surgery. And again, he's not throwing harder because he had Tommy John surgery. I like to clarify that all the time.
I mean, he has been just ridiculously dominant. He basically strikes out 2 out of every 3 hitters. And just a handful of hits against him. He'll be back in the big league shortly. 1-1 outside, 2-1. Rockies trying to add on.
Give Adam Ottavino a little breathing room because he's up. He'll come in and pitch the 8th inning.
Good hitters count right here for Story.
Oh, that was good hitter's rip on a 97.
Runner going, ground ball is short, and they're still going to be able to turn it over. So the Rockies done in the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. Adam Ottavino will be up for Colorado. The Rockies leading 5-4. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Rockies home for 9 ball games. This is number 1, and the Rockies at one point down 4-1. They lead 5-4. Top of inning number 8. Eugenio Suarez will face Adam Ottavino, and you know what kind of year Adam Ottavino's had? A special one.
He's on pace to be going to the All-Star game type of season. 085.
Would you have to be really special to be considered for an All-Star spot if you are a setup man?
Yeah, but his numbers, and I think he and Josh Hader from Milwaukee, 2 guys that, to me, would be no doubters.
Yeah, have to be there if you were selecting today. And this, you know, the next couple of weeks, you starting, you know, about a week or so, 10 days into June, it starts to heat up with the voting. And Suarez takes a slider, 1-1. Suarez, a 2-run home run to center in the 3rd. That's what gave the Reds their 4-1 lead. And this is lined to center field for a base hit.
Guess what, Drew? Margaritaville is coming to Coors Field. It's Saturday, June 9th, and the ticket package includes a limited edition Margaritaville shirt. Visit Rockies.com/Margaritaville for tickets.
Here's how dominant Ottavino's been. Coming into tonight, lefties were hitting .083 and righties .087. It'll go up after that base hit by Suarez. Here's the lefty Scott Schebler. Ball 1. And 2-0. Schebler owns a home run against Ottavino.
That's in 2 at-bats against Adam.
Two pitches right at the bottom of the strike zone. Unfortunately, neither one were called to strike. And this ball is turned on and hooked foul.
He broke his bat.
Shevler's out of Des Moines Community College. He was a great athlete in high school in Iowa. Played about 6,000 sports. I asked him before the game, I said, what was your best sport? It's probably football or soccer. Usually you can't say, you say one or the other because they played at the same time, but
Maybe not in that state, though. Maybe it's in the, it might be a spring sport, but then you're playing baseball. So
he played everything.
goes back to being an athlete.
Yeah. 3-1. And that's a good looking pitch to make it 3-2.
I didn't see that a whole lot last year from Adam when he was behind in the count 3-1, being able to the lefty especially, you know, drop a nice slow off-speed pitch in there.
3-2. Runner going and a ground ball right at Trevor, and he's got to go to first.
No other option. And that's why you put the guy in motion. Trevor was going to cover, and then he had to backpedal to get that ball. Now for Peraza, I think you throw him slider, 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 and another one. So he really likes to dive and get out. He kind of gets on his front side.
Well, he's kind of a slap hitter. Desmond's well off the bag, as he should be at first, trying to help out Valleca. Valleca's got to work Suarez, but also work back to that right side, because that baseball may find the right side with Peraza's approach.
Right, and so if you're Pat, you're only about 4 or 5 steps away from second, but the minute you think that Adam is going home, then you go back to your natural position. You can see him already creeping back.
This is in the air to left field. Easy play out there for Parra. 2 outs, and Adam Duvall will be the pinch hitter in the pitcher's spot.
Duvall hitting 177, but he does have 9 home runs.
As one of those guys, you can say, oh, look at the stats, but look at his reputation. It's a dangerous guy. An all-star 2 years ago. That misses. He's at 30+ home runs each of the last 2 years. 31 last year with 99 driven in. The previous year 33 and 103 driven in. Pitch, fastball at the knees, right at the bottom of the Subaru strike zone.
2 areas that you can attack Adam. On a fastball above 94 miles an hour, which Adam Ottavino has, and the other place is he's hitting 098 on outside pitches. So if you want to start a slider, go in the middle and break it away, I think you can get him there. But if you elevate a fastball Above 94 miles an hour, you got him upstairs too.
One to Duval. And he pops him up, shallow center. Here comes Charlie. And a nice job once again by Adam Ottavino. 5-4 Colorado. The Coors Light refreshing finish. Rockies were in a 4-4 game. They went to the bench. Noel Cuevas pitch hitting first delivery. He tripled. And Tony Walters would walk, comes around. And that's the difference right now in the baseball game. A Coors Light refreshing finish. Rockies in the bottom half of inning number 8 will have Ian Desmond, Tony Walters, Pat Valaika against former starter Michael Lorenzen.
Just came off the DL Wednesday to make his season debut. And right shoulder strain, shelved him for a month and a half.
Used to be a starting pitcher. In fact, in spring training, he was still vying for a spot in the rotation. But he had an ERA of 8+ in spring training. Ended up moving him to the pen. Duval stays in the game. He's in left. Winker moves to right. It's 2-0 on Desmond. Desmond 0 for 3 tonight. Schepler has come out of the game. 3-0. What you're thinking at home. Michael Lorenzen looks like an NFL tight end. Line drive, foul.
He has the pitcher's body. He's tall, strong, but as a starter, he had a 5.45 ERA and an OPS of 887. Much lower as a reliever, just 388 and a 679.
Three and 2 on Desmond. That'll bring up Walters. Tony's been on 3 times tonight. Single. He walked with the bases loaded in the 3rd to force in, at the time, the tying run. And then he scored the go-ahead run in the 6th. Who wants tacos? Fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 in a game or more. First to 6 against the Reds this year. In fact, they're going to come in a flurry because in 2 weeks the Rockies will be in the Natty, as many people in Cincinnati call their hometown.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a Thursday day game to come right back home for 3.
Tony bounces this to first, handled there by Votto. 2 outs. Pat Valaika being called back. You probably see Cargo here, and then Daniel Castro in the 9th inning defensively. So here comes Cinco. Valaika may very well have hit had the Rockies had some traffic, and then Cargo could have hit away for Ottavino. But in a 1-run game, right now Buddy Black's thinking, hey, I'm going to put Cargo up there. He runs into one. I have a 2-run game for my closer.
Good strategy as far as Bud's concerned.
Yeah, don't let the game
you don't want
to go to the 9th inning without Cargo getting an opportunity to swing the bat.
Right, where he's still sitting on the bench holding him in case something happened. No, go for the jugular run right now.
Cincinnati, interestingly, does not shift the heavy shade with Cargo.
I think we've seen it both ways for Cargo this year, where it will be a heavy shift, and then other teams are not doing that. They'll leave the shortstop on the shortstop side of second base, but it just creates a big gap right where the umpire is on the field. You can roll one through there.
That missed. 1-1.
Sixth matchup between Cargo and Lorenzen. 1 for 5 in the other ones.
One and two. So many Rockies. Cargo trying to find his offensive stride. What you hope happens here with an extended homestand with good weather. Cargo adjusting right now to not being in there every day.
Different role for him than he's ever had to do.
And he understands he's the one who's in charge of changing that. I think Buddy would love to write his name in every day. But like anything, you got to have productivity.
And then Gerardo's been swinging the bat, and he did on that road trip.
Got to get at bats for Dahl, hoping he can catch fire.
2 hits for David tonight.
2-2. Cargo is gone, and the pitch back makes that easy for Barnhart. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies leading 5-4. Wade Davis will try to get the Rockies to the promised land. Looking for 3 more outs when we come back.
show. It'll be Corey and I going over what looks to be a good start for a 9-game homestand.
Yeah, you know what? When we're talking about John Gray, we saw the ups and downs, the things we've seen from him all year long. It's frustrating, but it's exciting. I don't know what to feel. As long as the Rockies win, it's thumbs up.
There isn't a bat that I think tonight is going to change everything for John Gray. We'll explain what it is. And there was a couple silver lining at bats that we'll have to get into as well. Guys?
Spilly, Corey, nice job. Must be special for you, Spilly, to be hanging out with one of the finest kickball players in the state of Colorado.
You're not going to let him live that down, are you?
But we had a great day. Well, I mean, if you have a great day, I'm going to compliment you,
sure.
right?
Well, I hope Wade Davis has a great day and closes this thing out. The 21 ball games make it 18 for 20 in the save opportunities for Wade. The 17 saves lead the major leagues and the 89.5 save percentage. Now at second base, Daniel Castro.
So Billy Hamilton will lead it off, then Jesse Winker and Tucker Barnhart. And this will be the first out. Gotta like that. One pitch, one out.
Well, and with Billy's speed, too. All fans through the gates for the Rockies-Giants game on Monday will receive a 2018 Colorado Rockies team poster.
That'll bring up Jesse Winker. If you have a 1-2-3 inning, you can avoid having to pitch to Joey Votto, which is always a good thing. Winker tonight 0 for 2 and a pair of walks. John Gray on the plus side. 6 innings, 4 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. It got better after the 3rd inning. Cut fastball 0-1.
He went.
And it definitely looked like he went. In fact, they're not even going to check it. Home plate umpire Adam Hamari. Tom Hallion had the same thing Adam had. It looked like Hamari pointed to him and said, "Yes, you did."
Yeah, he did. So I think Tom was just confirming
it. 2 strikes on Winker. Tony wants a fastball up. The stoic Wade Davis. If you're looking for emotion on the mound, you're not going to find it from Wade.
Not at all.
League hitting just 171 against Davis. Averaging more than a strikeout per inning pitched. And there's one right there. 2 outs in the 9th inning.
Really took a lot off that last pitch to make it 83 miles an hour. That Winker out on the front leg. Feeble swing. Curveball that just ran away from Winker. And 1 out to go.
Barnhart has 2 of the 8 hits tonight for Cincinnati. Two and out. 2 outs. Here's the 2-0 to Barnhart. They've been stolen. Yeah, I don't blame him. That may have been low, and Tony perhaps stole it. 2-1.
Wanted it inside. Well, anytime you see somebody pull it that hard, it was down.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
He's had a lot of success tonight, just spinning the ball. Just has a good grip, good feel of it.
Crowd standing, 2-2. Fouled off. Spiked the breaking ball. 3-2. Wade knows this is the guy you want to get. 1-run game with Joey Votto on deck. (3-2) to Barnhart. Got it. Ball game over. Wade Davis closes it down, and the Rockies win it 5-4. And get this, the Rockies coming back from a 3-run deficit here in game number 51. That's the largest deficit they've overcome to produce a victory in what has been a strange first third of the season.
Well, and what a nice way to start off this long homestand, too, to get that first victory. And he gets Tucker Barnhart with a hard slider. Yeah, fire up Rockies fans, yeah.
Absolutely. So the Rockies win it 5-4. John Gray gets the victory, and the loss goes to Sal Romano. 5-4 Colorado as we go to center field. And the boys, what's happening, guys?
Hey, Drew, before you go, we just want to make sure you know, good luck to Arapahoe, but if you guys lose, we're throwing
your fault,
it on
buddy.
you. Okay?
It's on you.
You understand?
It'll be on me.
Yep.
Good luck, Coach Drew. We have a lot to get into when we get back. John Gray turning it around in the 4th inning. We'll explain why.